Keith, it does feel like a choose-your-own-adventure set of data. What are you concentrating on this morning after the release at 8:30 a.m. of unemployment?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this jobs report because what we've seen is continued positive job growth. It came in at 50,000 new jobs, exactly around where the market was predicting, and that shows that President Trump's economy is strong, that there's job creation, and if you even look back for the year as a whole, we saw that net job gain, and that's what we're excited about because that's benefiting American workers, and that's what our mission here as a Department of Labor is to make sure that the Americans are getting in the workforce, getting the jobs, and have the skills and training we need, and that's what we're seeing.
Keith, I just want to jump in because you talked about the net job growth of last year. Payrolls climbed 584,000. That's the weakest since 2020, when, of course, they were plunging because of COVID. And if you look back past the pandemic, you don't see annual increase of payrolls that low through the entire expansion through 2010 through 2019. Keith, couldn't you look at that and say, sure, jobs were added, but it wasn't that robust?
No, jobs were added in the right place, 654,000 in the private sector, negative job growth in the government sector, which is exactly what President Trump promised, to right-size the federal government, to get jobs back in the private sector, and that's what we're seeing. And especially with unemployment rates coming down and wages going up, that's the metrics we're looking at, and that's what we're excited to see from this report, and so is the market.
We still have seen manufacturing jobs. We lost almost 100,000 manufacturing jobs in 2025. And this was a sector that I think the president, it's fair to say, is very focused on. He wants to bring manufacturing back to these shores. Why do we have what looks like a manufacturing recession a year into his term?
Oh, well, look, what we're doing here is we're expecting significant manufacturing jobs. We're expecting significant reshoring. And here, because of the president's policies of bringing foreign dollars and bringing trillions of dollars in to this country, which we're going to see this year really come to fruition. We're seeing groundbreakings at factories. And as I travel across the country, what I see is that enthusiasm for those jobs coming back. But first, the infrastructure investments have to be made. We're seeing that. Companies are excited to hire American workers. They're excited to build in America, whether sectors across the spectrum here, and that's what we're focused on in the Department of Labor, is for each of those, whether it's first construction, then manufacturing, for each sector that's coming back, we want to have the skilled American workforce, and that's what we're focused on with historic investments in skills trades, in apprenticeships, in Pell workforce grants, because we know those jobs are coming back. It's just those investment dollars are coming in, and then we're going to see a boom in construction and manufacturing this year.
Right, and you know, just to underline Matt's point, we certainly didn't see that in the last report with construction, manufacturing, transportation losing jobs. Where we did see jobs added, Keith, though, was the federal workforce, nudging up by just about 2,000 roles. Is the DOGE effect over? Are we now switching to net hiring? Is that what we should be expecting from this federal government?
No, look, for the federal government, with the voluntary resignations, people leaving, we saw huge decreases at certain points. And, you know, from across 2025, which is what the president promised, to right-size the government, that's exactly what happened. So at the end of the year, that number was significantly down for these federal government agencies to be able to operate at full function, which they can with the right workforce. And that's what we saw from the overall job numbers from last year in the federal workforce.
I wonder if you still think, you know, if we go with the narrative that the economy's hot, we're adding jobs, everything's fantastic, do we really need the Fed to cut rates? Because in that case, they don't seem too restrictive. How do you kind of square that circle?
Look, that's up to them. The president has been very clear on what needs to happen there. And inflation is down and wages are up. And that's really what our key metrics are at the Department of Labor. And we see that the GDP growth is better than expected and continues to be better expected. And what that's going to lead is to more jobs. And I promise you, the Labor Department will be there to skill those workers so American workers get those jobs. They have the underlying skills that they need, which they've been neglected before, but not any longer, because we know those jobs are coming and we want those jobs to go to Americans. And that's what we see consistently in this job report in this administration is net gains in native-born American workers, which reverses that trend, which was going the other way. And we want those Americans to get the opportunities and have the skills, and that's our commitment when those jobs come.